On last night's episode of Game of Thrones, The Last of the Starks, the series positions Cersei as a larger threat to our protagonist than the recently deceased Night King. Though not as large of a threat to the realm itself, Cersei is positioned to create more named character casualties than the Night King did in his one-episode epic. Waiting just out of sight of Daenerys, her dragons, and her naval forces, Euron Greyjoy, now armed with multiple scorpion crossbows, laid waste to Rhaegal, the dragon Daenerys named after her oldest brother and Jon's father, Rhaegar Targaryen. With Daenerys pulling Drogon away from the same fate at the last minute, Euron turned his arsenal towards Daenerys' few remaining boats, obliterating her naval forces, and taking Daenerys' translator and advisor, Missandei, hostage in the process. This all comes at the tail end of the episode, which had previously focused on the aftermath of the battle for Winterfell and the growing hostility between the parties that had come together for that fight. Cersei's battle with Daenerys doesn't even truly begin until next week, and yet her forces have once again destroyed her naval fleet and killed yet another of her dragons. I suspect that next week's episode could be a direct parallel to last week's victory against the dead, though this time with Daenerys taking the loss as she sieges on Cersei in King's Landing. Cersei is poised to bring about the deaths of many of our remaining leads, perhaps even bringing about the deaths of major characters like Tyrion, the Hound, Arya, Jaime, Daenerys herself, and maybe even Drogon, the last remaining dragon. Thank you for watching. Tune in later this week to our podcast, The Weekly Set, for a full discussion and breakdown of the episode. We apologize for the absence of last week's podcast, which we recorded but lost the audio of. We will take actions to better assure that doesn't happen again. Until then, Valor Morghulis.